Back with you another week. It is the Unash and Dukes podcast coming your way here on our Unash and Dukes podcast YouTube page. Go and give us a like, subscribe, whatever you need to do. You just go to YouTube, type in Unash and Dukes podcast. We've got this one. We've got all of the older editions of the podcast. You can also pick those up at crmlivesports.com. You can get the links at Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, where have you? And please go out, spread the word. We're trying to spread the word here, get everybody tuned into the same page, that it's not at 3 o'clock weekdays anymore. We're close to 3 o'clock. But yeah, Unash and Dukes podcast, which is presented by Emel's Hideaway, First Avenue Southeast in Cedar Rapids, right across from the Lindale Mall and next to the Home Depot. Open at 4 o'clock Monday through Saturday. And a classic local American restaurant with a fully stocked bar. They offer catering as well. And see them if you've got an event coming up. They will definitely help you out. I'm Scott. He's Mark. Welcome into the show here today. We'll tell you about our other great sponsors coming up here in a couple of minutes. But I hope you had a good weekend, Mark. I know we had a fruitful golf weekend.
We did. If you're into fantasy golf, and we had a good weekend, and that's all good. Looking forward to the party in Phoenix this week, and looking forward to a great week, really. I mean, basketball and wrestling continue, but we've got the Super Bowl, we've got the Olympics beginning. Curling is Wednesday, by the way.
Yes, it is.
But it's an interesting time of year, one day closer to spring, and that's all good too.
Curling, when the bigger the sport of the Olympics is, the earlier it starts. That's why curling is getting a head start upon everything else. And there you go. Have you done your research on the American curling team?
I have not. I really don't care. I'll watch any nation curling. And speaking of nations, this coming week we may be going overseas for our podcast.
Could be in Croatia. And that's probably a good spot for Mark this week, considering the fact how things went on Friday night in Iowa City. People not happy at this time. And then Oklahoma State did what they did to Iowa State. Wasn't a good weekend as far as Iowa and Iowa State wrestling is concerned, but they'll try to get back in the winning track coming up this week for both of those teams. And we'll get to the Olympics. It is Super Bowl week, as you mentioned. We've had 2 weeks to let that percolate under us a little bit. And this week will be big with everything going on out in Santa Clara, San Francisco, California, Northern California, whatever they're calling it. So we got a lot of Super Bowl stuff to get ready for. But we got college basketball. We are at the halfway point now of the conference seasons. It goes quickly. It will go real quickly through the month of February as 10 more games in a shortened month with Groundhog's Day coming today. We didn't see our shadow here, Mark. We did not, but Punxsutawney Phil did. So can you average that out? We get 4 weeks of more winter. They get 6. So let's just call it 5 and make it good.
All you need to know is Phil's success rate at predicting this is like 30 to 40%. If you were a gambler, you'd be bleeding money over the years if you had that lack of success. So just keep that in mind. We'll be fine.
We'll be fine. So good job by Punxsutawney Phil here today. But we're at the halfway mark. And for the Iowa men's basketball team, a resounding Bennett Sturts-led win on Sunday night. That was the only game in town in college basketball, Division I, on Sunday night. They went out to Knight Arena. Thank goodness the floor is not quite as messy as it was last year and the years prior to that. I hate watching games at Oregon with that. It's a little better now. They toned it down a little bit, but hey, Bennett Sturts loved it, and he had a career high. Iowa, at the end, ended up cruising by Oregon. Ended up pretty much the entire game about a 12 to 8 point lead for the Hawkeyes. They upped it to 20 toward the end, but puts Iowa at 16-5 now and 6-4 at the halfway mark of the Big Ten Conference. And I think that do you consider I consider this so far a success for Ben McCullum and the Hawkeyes. Do you consider it a success? You are on the side of wait just a minute and pump the brakes before you get onto the NCAA bandwagon. Are you still there, or are you a little bit more toward the NCAA side?
I'm still wait and see because just for this reason, up till now, Iowa's strength of schedule nationally is 88th, number 88. The remaining schedule for Iowa ranks number 17. The stretch drive here is much more difficult than the first 21 games. Now, those included non-conference games, and that's why Iowa's strength of schedule. Iowa did not play a great schedule aside from Iowa State. Grand Canyon is about the best team that Iowa played. Otherwise, you got teams like Bucknell and Chicago State, and it just doesn't add up to a great strength of schedule. But Iowa's net is good. The bracketology is seventh right now, but I think that remaining schedule, I think Iowa's going to be favored in probably four of those games. But five of those games, you got two games against Nebraska, you got Purdue, you got at Wisconsin, and then a home game against Michigan. So I'm still on the fence here, but whether this team, I think Iowa has to get to 11 wins in the Big Ten, and that would be what, 20, 21. It would be 21
Yes.
overall. You look at last year, eight Big Ten teams made the tournament, and the worst team was 12-8 in the conference. So that tells you a little bit there. Indiana was dead even at 10-10, didn't make the tournament. So I think for Iowa to be comfortable, it has to get to 11. I don't think 10-10 is going to do it.
Yeah, and it also depends on how other
It
leagues
does.
go. And it depends a lot how, if Miami, Ohio loses the MAC championship, that lets another team in and that takes one of the power fives out. Because I got to think Miami of Ohio is in, barring some sort of a crazy downfall for the Red Hawks. But this is kind of the looking at the back 10 games in the Big Ten for Iowa, it's kind of an all or nothing. There aren't an array of middle ground teams that Iowa's going to play. Probably the only one is the game coming up on Wednesday night. Get your nap in, everybody. 10 o'clock start time Wednesday night. Welcome to Big Ten After Dark, Hawkeye fans, at Washington, taking on the Huskies. That's probably the middle game remaining because then Super Bowl Sunday at home, Iowa's going to be heavily favored against Northwestern, who's won for the year, although have one of the better Big Ten players in the league. And then a road trip to Maryland. Maryland is not good. Valentine's at home against the Purdue Boilermakers. The first of the two games against Nebraska, this one in Iowa City. Trip to Madison, which has been, as of late, pretty much all or nothing for Iowa. Usually a 25-point loss or a win for Iowa. Game at home against Ohio State should be favored. Game at Penn State. Penn State's not very good either, but Iowa has not fared well out of Happy Valley in basketball in the past. And then the last two games of the year against Michigan at home and then at Lincoln on senior day to take on Nebraska, which is going to be tough. So, I mean, I went through there. This game against Washington on Wednesday night is pretty big. If they can sneak out another win and if they can go 2-0 on the West Coast trip, that's money in the pocket for Iowa, I think, at the present time. Because you got to think they're going to come home and beat Northwestern and go to Maryland and win. That's 9-4. And then you're looking pretty good and you're thinking maybe, you know, at least having a few thoughts of getting into the top four and getting that triple bye instead of the double bye from 5 to 8. Oh, the Big Ten tournament's going to be fun. All 18 teams are going to be in there. I'm kind of hoping for somebody to win 6 games in 6 days. I really am. I'm going for that. I don't know who it's going to be, but at any rate, it's doable. There are very tough games, like you said, two against Nebraska, Michigan, certainly at Wisconsin, Purdue. I think there are five they can get and five they probably won't get. So I'm with you. I think 11-9 gets them in.
Yeah, I think the next couple three games are critical. Anytime you go to the East Coast or West Coast, for that matter, it's a little bit different. You go to Maryland, you go to Penn State, and listen, this is Big Ten basketball, as it will be Wednesday night against Washington. Washington's a little bit better than Oregon, but they're not any great shakes. So this is a game that Iowa's certainly capable of winning. And if Iowa wins, as you say, three straight here, going into that Valentine's Day matchup against Purdue, going to have a lot of momentum and a good resume. I still worry about that stretch. But you're going to see an upset here or there, whether it's Iowa on the favorable end or the not so favorable end. You're going to see an upset or two. Whether Iowa can get a couple that you don't think, maybe one of those games against Nebraska, maybe knocking off Wisconsin on the road. This is a capable team. It plays good defense. I'm curious to know more about Tavian Banks' injury. He only played 10 minutes last night. He's a key piece in this whole team, but it seems like others step up. I mean, Koch and Fulgueras stepped up last night, and Brendan Hausen came out of nowhere. I mean, you can't count on him making 24 footers, a couple 24 footers every night. In fact, he'd been shooting it pretty poorly when he was on the floor, but he gave him a lift last night, and that's what it's going to take down the stretch here.
Hausen was really good, and he's been getting better. Same as Urak, but he's obviously a freshman, true freshman, hasn't seen the floor a whole lot. But Hausen coming in and doing what he did on the road at Oregon on Sunday night, that's going to do nothing but help the rotation of this team. And yeah, we didn't have to deal with the controversy of free throws last or Sunday night against the Oregon Ducks. Um, I don't know how that's going to play out. He may miss the next one. It could
Are
be
you
that
talking about
situation.
Banks on the
I'm
record?
talking about Banks. Yes,
Okay.
he's at 30 in a row. 34 is the beloved record shared by Jordan Bohannon and the late Chris Street. Um, I hope it doesn't come down to crunch time and Tavion Banks is at the line and has to make a interesting decision if he's going to make two free throws to beat Nebraska at home or keep the Chris Street's name in the record book. I'm just hoping that doesn't happen. And I think Hawkeye fans and basketball fans are probably hoping that is not going to be the scenario that plays out.
Despite what Jordan Bohannon did, and I think that it was appropriate at the time. Jordan Bohannon I think, was close to the streets and felt very strongly about Chris Street, and I think we all do. And I think Tavian Banks knows the history. But frankly, records are made to be broken. And I didn't know Chris Street, but just knowing a little bit about him, I would think he said, "Hell yes, go ahead and make him break my record." Um, Now, in baseball, some of those records, Roger Maris and Barry Bonds and breaking records like that, that there was other factors there. But I think this is just if he breaks it, fine. If he doesn't, fine too. And I think that's the way banks should approach it.
Going to be interesting. That's for sure. Um, in Ames, Iowa State, holy cow, what in the world has happened to the Kansas State men's basketball program? Um, that thing is on thin ice at the moment. Iowa State went in there. In fact, the last two games, Iowa State has shot the absolute, you know, has shot better than any team I can see all year. 97 and 95 against Colorado and then on the road at Kansas State. They didn't give either one of those teams even a look at it. I mean, they were up 25 early on in those games. Cyclones right now third in the Big 12. They're 20-2 overall, and most people have them as a 2. You saw them as a 1 in one of the bracketologies, right?
Yeah, CBS Sports had Iowa State number one displacing UConn, but you talk about what happened to Kansas State basketball, what happened to their uniforms.
Those were the old
My
Jack
God.
Hartman uniforms.
I know they were throwbacks, but geez, draw a line. Those were you could go to the sixth grade YMCA game and find a better uniform than those. I mean, really. And Colorado's grays were not much better.
No.
Don't overthink the room on uniforms. But yeah, Kansas State is falling off, as has Oregon in the Big Ten for different reasons. But this is a great Iowa State team. I don't know how far it will go, but 20-2, a number one or two seed right now. It does have some tough games left. 5 out of the 9 are against ranked teams. It's that next to last game, penultimate, as you would say, Scott. Game against at Arizona, number one in the nation. But it's got BYU. It has Houston at home, and I forget a couple. It has Kansas still at home. So it's going to be a great race down to the end. But this is a really good basketball team that I think is at least um, Sweet 16, if not Final 8 or Final 4.
Yeah, the schedule ramps up in a big way. Iowa State gets a week off. They aren't in action again until next Saturday afternoon. They host Baylor. Baylor's not very good this year. It's interesting. Big 12 has the most teams. To me, and see if you agree, this is a very good league, but I think it's a little bit more top heavy this year than it's been. Bottom of the Big 12's not very good
Yeah,
uh, compared to others. And I get it. The Big Ten's got Northwestern, Penn State, and Oregon all with one win. But Oregon's best 2 players are out. The SEC at the bottom's pretty darn good, but I don't think they have the top that the Big 12 has when you look at them. But after Baylor, it's at TCU, Kansas, Houston, at BYU, a breather, although at Utah, and then Texas Tech, and then at Arizona. So it's the meat of Iowa State's schedule is coming up, but with this team, the way they shoot it, um, yeah, they're going to end up being a very nice seed, chance to win the Big 12 tournament. They've done that before and kind of fallen off. After that, like a lot of other teams have done, it's going to be, I don't see them falling below basically a 3 seed at this point, even if they drop a few games.
yeah, I would agree with that. And this is just a very well-rounded basketball team. It doesn't have the huge center inside, but Jefferson is so good in what he does, and the complementary pieces like Momcilovic and Lipsy and Buchanan and Torrey and this Bateman kid is tremendous. The freshman kid, Bateman, I think, has played awfully well for him and give him another component. But Iowa State had that back-to-back loss thing with Kansas and Cincinnati, right? They lost back-to-back,
Yep.
Kansas, Cincinnati. But doing what they did against Colorado and Kansas State was very impressive, and it's going to be super fun down the road.
When Nate Heisey's making 4 out of 5 threes, you know things are going
True,
very well.
true.
And I tell you what, I got to see. I watched Saturday afternoon on the computer. Yusuf Gray, who brought his West Dallas Central team to Waukee Northwest. He brought along some other really good players too, including a 6'11" kid, and they beat Waukee Northwest by 10. So he's going to be a good one to step in next year as a freshman for Iowa State. But it is the Unash and Dukes podcast. We're going to talk some more hoops, but let's give a shout out to some of our great sponsors. We told you about Emel's Hideaway at First Avenue Southeast, our presenting sponsor. Thanks as well to Ben Ritter Sportswear, located at 817 2nd Avenue Southeast in downtown Cedar Rapids and online at benritter.com. They're your one-stop store for screen print, embroidery for polos, t-shirts, hats, and more. Thanks to American Family Insurance agent Kurt Gustafson on Johnson Avenue Northwest in Cedar Rapids, right across from the Johnson Avenue Hy-Vee. Also, Dr. John Woolner at Epiphany Dermatology, located on Council Street Northeast in Cedar Rapids, with over 30 years of experience. And also, cannot forget our friend Todd Hunt and Hunt Graphic Innovations. And he helps run the CRM Live Sports. He does run the CRMLiveSports.com website, and it helps us out immensely with the podcast and with everything we do on the high school athletic front. And looking forward to Lynn-Mark Kennedy tonight, the annual, which should be another very, very good one. Women's basketball, Iowa State is healthier, and Iowa State is winning again. Not the best competition, but hey, you beat the teams that you should beat, and that's what Iowa State is doing right now. And suddenly, with some people on the perimeter that can make shots, Audie Crooks is getting open again and is much better than people are talking about. And so Iowa State still with the 5 losses in the Big 12, not going to win the regular season title, but put themselves in a position to move up anyway, as far as the Big 12 tournament is concerned. I will ask you, Mark, with the Iowa women, 2 straight losses to 2 tough teams. Obviously, UCLA is number 3 in the country. No Juju Watkins for USC, but it's still USC. That is still a talented basketball team out there. And there are a few out there that are, I'm going to say, they're not on the edge and the ledge, but they're inching their way out there that, oh my gosh, McCabe's out. This team hasn't figured it out yet, and this thing's going to go into a spiral. They might have lost these 2 games with her, to be honest with you. We knew this was going to be a tough road trip for Iowa, and it was.
Yeah, I mean USC was desperate for a victory. It lost some close games, and I think had 5 losses in the league already. And that game at home, and Taylor McCabe's Iowa's best 3-point shooter, but she's not Caitlin Clark. I mean, Iowa's got capable players of stepping in for her, and they will. I'd say not to worry. And you talk about Iowa's men exceeding expectations right now. Iowa women 18-4, 9-2. If they're not exceeding, they're at least at expectations right now. This is a very good team, number 12 in the net right now. And the home stretch here is not daunting by any means, aside from a game against Michigan, which is second in the league right now. I can see this team finishing with 23 wins or so very easily. I wouldn't worry about Iowa women.
Get ready to get your tickets for the first 2 rounds
Yeah,
of the NCAA tournament.
I would say so.
Yeah, unless this thing collapses in a big way, I do not see, much like the Iowa State men, I don't see the Iowa women leaving a top 4 seed at this point. But you never know.
And I think Iowa State women are an NCAA tournament team too, playing better, and that's what Iowa State needs to relieve some of that pressure on Audie Crooks. If Crooks scores 18 or 20 and Iowa State wins by 12 or 14, that's a good thing. If Addie Brown gets back, I don't know the prospects of that, but that will help that team obviously as well. But a pretty good stretch for the Iowa State women, and see if they can continue that.
Shout out as well to CPU grad Riley Goebel with a triple double for the UNI Panthers, which included blocks, Mark, in the UNI women's win in Des Moines against the Drake Bulldogs over the weekend. So she's having a heck of a career, the young lady from Center Point, Urbana. So nice job, Riley.
The last one was by Cedar Rapids, Washington grad, I think.
I think you're right.
KK Armstrong.
KK Armstrong. You bet. Former Wash player and Wash coach, assistant coach there. So, and very good company. There haven't been many triple doubles for the UNI women. So
it's hard to do. It's hard to do.
It is hard to do, especially with blocks in there. Scoring, rebounding, and blocks. That's a tough one. And she had 3 blocks on 1 play. If you watch that, just a tremendous job by that young lady. It is the Unash and Dukes podcast. It is a huge week, uh, not because of the Waste Management Phoenix Open and the loudest golf tournament outside of Live Golf, which is not Live Golf anymore because now they play 72 holes. Are they going to rename it to LVVII Golf?
I don't know. They need more help than that renaming, I guess. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. I enjoy watching that tournament for obvious reasons.
I do too. It's a great way to spend your Sunday before the Super Bowl because you don't need 7 hours of pregame. Even when the Chiefs and the Bear, well, I don't know about you, Mark. When the Chiefs played, I never watched any of the pregame. Just didn't do it. It's just, yeah,
I don't watch any of the pregame. I don't watch any of the halftime, and I'm just not interested. I don't care. My favorite band of all time could be playing, and I probably wouldn't watch it. It's just me. I'm there for the football game, and frankly, the football game. There's not a lot of people talking about it. There's not a lot of people talking about the Olympics. And I don't know why that is, but I think as it gets closer throughout the week, Seattle, New England, I think will be a pretty good game, and I'm sure we'll give our picks later in the week, but just doesn't have the panache that other Super Bowls might have.
I would agree with you. Speaking of the Olympics, and you and I, we're a little bit older. I love the Olympics.
A
I've
little
all
bit.
I have always loved the Olympics. Some of my greatest sports memories were from Olympic Games. The United States hockey team in the win over the Russians. I still remember the 1976 downhill with Franz Klammer about crashing 12 times and coming down and winning the gold medal for Austria. That was another memory. Um, Bonnie Blair. I call me an Olympic junkie. I love it. And I will watch the Olympics. I will follow the Olympics, and I hope others do as well. I don't know what is Bond going to ski. I don't know. Have we gotten a a clue on if she's going to be able to do it with her health after the spill she took over the weekend?
I don't have the latest. She may ski on one leg. I don't know. But that was a tough injury to have in final training run or whatever. But I'm like you, whether it's the summer or the Winter Olympics, a big part of it is seeing those sports that you never see. I mean, I'm not gonna tune into downhill skiing on a Saturday afternoon, typically during the year, and I watch curling. I'm interested to see what the professional aspect coming back to the hockey is going to bring. I think it could be a heck of a tournament in that regard, but biathlon and bobsledding and luge
Now I like bobsled and luge.
but you never watch it during the year, right?
No, God no.
You don't tune into gymnastics during the year for the Summer Olympics, right? No. Track and field by and large, but it's the Olympics. It's most nations coming together and it's competition and there's always great stories and there will be this year.
I actually probably prefer the Winter Olympics to the Summer Olympics because there's a lot less that you have to follow, a lot less sports, and a lot less countries. You can kind of keep tabs on it a little bit more in the winter. I mean, you talk about sports you've never heard of. Holy cow, the Summer Olympics are full of them.
Yeah.
It's 3-on-3 basketball, you get regular basketball. The hockey's going to be great. Curling's going to be great. Always love the skiing. See, I'm a race guy, so I like bobsled and luge. Give me that every day. It's just fun. And then you get some weather factors that are thrown in there as well. I'm not a big figure skating. They think it's the marquee event and blah blah. Whatever. It's judged. You can't come up with a real winner when it's judged, Mark.
I don't know. I think you might upset some people by saying that, but you might be right. There's
Sorry.
controversy in figure skating. I'll watch it because there are other people in the house that like that sort of thing. Let me just say that. Okay. But there won't be any winter break dancing. There won't be any skateboarding on ice like the Summer Olympics. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm not going to be glued to the TV, but I'm going to watch.
I'm going to watch with you. I think it'll be fun. We'll talk about that. And uh, it should be. I'll get started the same. You talk about NBC hitting the jackpot. Super Bowl, start of the Winter Olympics on the same day. That's going to be a weekend that NBC, can only dream of. Um, Look for that curling on USA at 1:30 in the morning. By the way, that's
Do we have
probably
an Olympics red zone?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I do know we got great sponsors. We have to say thank you to one more time. Emel's Hideaway, our presenting sponsor, First Avenue Southeast in Cedar Rapids. Kurt Gustafson, Agency of American Family Insurance, as well as Hunt Graphic Innovations, Dr. John Woolner at Epiphany Dermatology on Council Street Northeast, and Bim Ritter Sportswear in downtown Cedar Rapids. Online at bimritter.com. Couldn't do without all those great folks. Tell them thank you very much. And again, get the word out. Give us a like, subscribe to the Unash and Dukes podcast page on YouTube, and let everybody know that we're out there. We're talking about curling and other things that others aren't. So we'll break that down. And we may be talking to Mark Ironside in Croatia on Wednesday.
I'm not sure what he said the time difference was, but if we can pull that off, that's going to be fun.
6 hours they
Okay.
are ahead. So late night Croatian time. We will check in with Mark and see if he's coaching over there. So maybe this is going to turn over a whole new leaf for Mark Ironside. We'll have to wait and see.
As if he needs another iron in the fire, but that'll be
Yes.
fun. We'll see what happens on Wednesday.
All right. Hey, we'll talk then, Mark, and have a good one.
You got to talk then.
All right. This has been the Unash and Dukes podcast, everybody, presented by Emel's Hideaway, First Avenue Southeast in Cedar Rapids. Thank you so much for joining us here today.